Seems to turn on before it says we're live, so I'd like
Okay.
to say hello in advance. I am so glad you are here. I'm so excited for today, you guys. This is Mary. She's our fabulous guest, but let's do the things. Here are the things. What's coming up? First and foremost, two things are happening this Saturday. I'll get back to the weekly stuff in a minute. This Saturday, Standing Stones is starting its series of free and open to the public intro classes to Wicca and paganism and all of the magical things they do. They do offer training for people who get through this public series of classes. There are private classes that they do so you can become an initiate of their group and raise through their ranks, first degree, second degree, third degree, etc. And then after that, Siri Vincent Bluth, the illustrious, the fabulous, the wonderful Siri, will be here to have an author event for her latest book that is just out. And I am so happy to say we had the great difficulty of having to order more copies of her book. You guys are loving queering the runes, so come grab it. Even if it looks like we're low, do not feel guilty because there is a box of books that will be here on Friday, the day before the event. So if everything works out perfectly, we'll have lots of copies. Plus, the other book that she co-wrote with Cassandra Snow, another delightful local author, called Lessons from the Empress, that she's commented she's very proud of how much queering of paganism she's snuck into that book, along with her co-author. They're both in on it. They love this. So 2:30 Saturday, come meet the author, come celebrate the release of the book with her. That's going to be fabulous. Noon on Saturday, Standing Stones. Now, in the meantime, I'll be here tonight after hours teaching Herbalism 2. Should be exciting. And the art show is coming down. So the art you see behind me, bye-bye. If you loved a piece that has been up in the room for the last few months, you want to come snag it today if you can. Oh my gosh, please. Let's see, what else have we got going on? We will continue to do our Facebook Lives. Sunday, energy work. I forgot last Sunday, sorry guys, but we'll get there. Meditation Mondays, Magic Tuesdays. We just talked about the Goetia this past Tuesday. And herbalism will be our focus. Magical herbalism, medicinal herbalism will be our focus on Thursday. That will always be fun. Reiki 1 is coming up this month on the 17th, which is a Sunday. And there's a Reiki share the following Sunday on the 24th, along with our palm reader, Chris's Palmistry 101 class, which is always a different topic on palmistry. He's incredibly knowledgeable on the subject. When he did teach a series here, I know folks who took the series twice. That's how involved and in-depth the class is. The folks who were here last month for the Palmistry 101 absolutely adored it. In fact, one of them was from Mind, Body, Spirit in St. Cloud. Shout out to everybody up there. It looks like he might be going up there to spend a day doing readings and teaching a class. So seriously, check him out. He's here on Sundays doing readings, usually from about noon until at least 4, sometimes later, but he can get called away. And right now his job is high stress. So if you want to get a palm reading, oh my gosh, come and get that palm reading. I can't guarantee he'll be here, in a few weeks, unless they staff up at his normal job. Also, I should say, that's what I got for the calendar. And I do want to say it is the day after the elections here in the US in 2024. And yes, it's true. We live in interesting times. Come in if you're feeling some kind of way about it. We are here to help. We're here to help you. You can vent at us by all means if you want to talk about some magical techniques or tools or reference materials that you might want to pick up to protect yourself and your loved ones and the country if you're concerned. Come on in. Like I said, we can just talk technique or even just complain. I don't mind. I'm here for you. Now, for fun stuff that's here, besides Mary's stuff, which is incredibly cool, which we'll get to, I want to let you guys know we've had an estate of books come in. I can't remember if I showed you, but clearly this person started making real money in 1969 because a ton of these books are hardcover first editions from one side or the other of 1970. So 69 to about 71, 72. First editions, Franz Barden, of the US version. How about June John's King of the Witches? Or Rigardi's, the little books that came out for Rigardi. Plus, sometimes you gotta love the cover art on these guys. The Lost, is for all. That's the Crowley. Look at this really old version of the Necronomicon. You gotta love it. And I said some of the covers are just priceless. This is definitely one. And Techniques of High Magic. Look at that cover. She's so cool on there. Love her. So there's a bunch of them. And as we get them priced, we will get them up online. They're mostly going on abe.com and not our website. This is a used bookstore site where lots of used book vendors put their books. So I recommend looking on ABE for us. It stands for American Book Exchange, or at least it did when it was founded. It was bought by Amazon, so that's a whole other thing. So abe.com is a place to look, or if you can come in and take a peek at what's on the shelf. And then you can also ask to see what's not there yet and maybe purchase something before it's even up online. That said, I also want to show you the stuff I alluded to last week that I did not actually get into, which is some items from Pisces Witch. I had 4 of these items. They were nearly gone. They came down for Palmistry 101 with Chris and restocked me and brought me a new product. So, locally made Florida water, you got it. And it took a little while to get it because the lovely maker had COVID and wouldn't make it during that full moon.
Oh, no.
Did not want that energy going into this. So we had a month's delay, totally worth the wait, really good. We have more bottles now, so come get your Minnesota-made Florida water. She is delightful. She lived in the Twin Cities for a long time. She's now out of town, and I promise you she brought one more thing. It is the first in her fragrance oils. This is sort of her signature scent. This is the Tranquil Soul. Look at it decide to refocus. All the refocusing, by the way, is automatic. This has notes of amber, sandalwood, and there are some other things in here. It smells wonderful. So you want to give it a little, this is very relaxing, sort of vanilla-y, sandalwoody, amber-y sort of. It will absolutely find tranquility for you. You can roll this on wrists, behind the ears, wherever you want to calm down a little bit today. And if it's today, I don't blame you. I know, it's big changes. But that's what I've got for stuff, except for the fabulous stuff from Mary. Oh. And I know you have announcements, but I want to start with some cute stuff. We are absolutely putting these on our tree when it comes up, which is probably coming up maybe even this weekend. Sorry, Thanksgiving fans, but there's a little spider on there. But our Yuletide tree will be up soon, and that will be dominating our window. And not only will the witches go on, or the little witch hats go on, but so will the witches' balls, which are one of those protective pieces of magic that you can use. All the stuff in there captures anything that you don't want in your life. And when you are ready to sweep those things away, what else have we got? Brooms. Look at the brooms. Little altar brooms. There are medium-sized altar brooms. There are teeny tiny altar brooms that would fit nicely over the rearview window of your car. And then there are big old giant brooms that are great for your altar space, for your ritual space. And in case that's not enough, that's okay. You make one other thing, which we're going to talk about all of them more in depth, but I wanted to give you at least a preview. Witches' bells. There are these jingly style bells on some of them, and there are Tibetan style bells on some of them. Some of them have the traditional way of hanging it over a doorknob, which is how they're supposed to really get done. And so they have this soft, flexible piece. So you won't find us hanging those up. You'll find them in their little bags because of that, because I want to protect the yarn so it doesn't get all stretched out by us. So you can do that yourself as it conforms to your space. And some of these, instead of the soft, flexible wreath, have a hard wreath, like a grapevine wreath. Just a little one. It's about this size, a little bigger. So that if you need to hang it on a nail, because you don't want to hang it on your doorknob, you can do it that way. This can also go on a nail. I just think, wow, it's so cool to put this right directly on a door for your protection. And everyone is unique, right? There's different
Yes.
seeds. This one's got a little evil eye bead on it, keys for protection, sunshine, stones that you'd associate. It's just gorgeous. So, yeah, as we head into this lovely season, we might want to think about protecting ourselves a little tiny bit.
Just a little bit, because you never know.
This is true. And I might refocus the herbs I talk about too. Herbs that help with regular cycles. Just saying. Might be more necessary now than it ever was. But let's show off the other big broom you brought in.
Okay.
And let's talk, this is a new addition to these big brooms that some of them have.
Okay, now some of these, and I'm also making them for you all, will have this silk on there. So I want to kind of go with a, flowy just a flow. It just came to me that I needed something like this on them besides manufactured ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this company online. It's called Maker's Craft. I'm gonna be reading here, sorry.
That's okay.
It's Maker's Craft. It's handmade, hand tie-dyed, sorry, silk ribbon yarn. What it is, they recycle the saris
Mhm.
that they wear, and the women shred them down, cut them down, they sew them together, and they come in 50-yard bundles.
But wow.
The edges are frayed, so it's a kind of a rough look. It's a fair trade product.
Love that.
100% recycled. It's eco-friendly, and it's made in India, and it employs women of India.
Nice.
And what they do is they hand tie-dye everything, they cut them, they sew them together. You can crochet with it, you can knit with it, you can weave, embroider, you can make shawls, rugs, whatever you want with recycled silk.
You could do like the hand crochet thing that was popular a few years ago.
Mhm.
That would be very cool. And
Very much.
having done it with big yarn, and it has like, some of them for us had big holes in them because it was just the way we did it.
Mhm.
Totally warm. It was amazing. And silk would be the same way just because of its insulating properties.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly. It would give you such a, well, knowing money, you're helping women.
Yep.
And it's recycled, so it's not going into the landfills, into the
Yeah.
garbage pits, and that you can use it for so many different DIY items.
Yeah. No, this sounds cool. This is a great resource for anybody who's
Mhm.
looking at handcrafts and stuff coming up.
Mhm.
Oh, this is perfect.
Yep, it's called Maker's Craft on Amazon. And yeah, just look for that. They're the only ones that are guaranteed made by women.
Okay.
The other ones I did some research on, and I cannot find any information. But they look the same. They're kind of the same, but it's not the same.
Hmm. So we love that.
Yes.
So definitely come down, check out the tree when we get it up later, possibly this week, maybe next week. Check out the wonderful decorations. Check out all the fun stuff. And I'm realizing I forgot to do something I have to do now because I should have done it before we started talking about stuff. Let me tell you all about our readers because I haven't done it. I know this is the reader's advertisement. It's true. So Chris is still doing palm readings on Sundays, but I don't know for how much longer. So come in and grab him while he's here. Paul is doing dream interpretations 2 to 6, 2 to 6 for Paul on Mondays for dream interpretation. Ravenwolf has very kindly stepped in for Tracy and is subbing for Tracy on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Saturdays. He's here from 3 to 6 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and noon until at least 2 on Saturdays. But this Saturday is going to be a little interesting because he plans on attending both of the events, and so he'll be here for more hours, and he's happy to get pulled out of things to do readings. So come down and check him out. And then on Friday, we have the delightful and wonderful Winter, who is there doing tarot readings from 1 until 5, and really would love more. So we'll see. I'm looking at it. I'm looking hard at it right now. So we'll find out how things work out, where things shake out. I did hear from Tracy, and she's having, in her recovery process, she's anxious to get back. And she has some appointments this week, and we'll know a lot more about her timeline going forward by the end of this week. So perhaps by next week, I can fill you guys in on when Tracy might be able to come back. Wish her all the best with her healing process, her physical therapy, and all the wonderful things she's working on so that she can be healthy, happier, whole, wonderful, as always. And if you're watching, Tracy, hi. But that gets me through all of those things. So now we have to talk about something. We have to get in trouble for 20 minutes now.
Oh.
How are we going to get in trouble today? What should we talk about?
Oh.
Yesterday, I got in trouble talking about ceremonial magic and the fact that the demons in the Goetia, sometimes not really demons, just conquered gods.
Yeah.
You know, and mentioning the idea that, well, it's very Christian language, very Abrahamic. It is also, you know, if you go back to your 10 Commandments, for those of you who learned them as children or still use them, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Mhm.
That implies other gods exist.
Yes.
It's to me today I read it sort of as oh, Yahweh is okay with poly worshipy. I don't know what to call it, as long as they're wifey number one for you. That's kind of that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I've been doing some watching and digging, and not all things that come through are demons.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, sometimes there may be just a little rambunctious.
yeah, a little mischievous,
Mm-hmm.
little low-key energy, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're really helpful.
Very helpful. Sometimes I'll, switch lanes, and you're going, I never take that lane.
Yeah,
And you switch lanes, and next thing you know, the car that was ahead of you gets rounded.
yep.
You know, listen.
Yep.
Listen, they will let you know.
The universe will tell you. It will kind of, it'll give you that little pattern piece.
Mhm.
And you're like, oh. I have a number of people who come into the shop lately asking about ceremonial magic, more
Mhm.
interested in it. And we've had some people on staff to have a new interest in that subject matter. It's one of the reasons I looked into it yesterday for 5 minutes. I thought that would be cool. And I have to say, people have done some of the simplest, almost most paganish sort of things with it and gotten amazingly good results. So I think intent still matters more than anything else.
Yes.
I still think that all of the creatures we might not be able to see all the time understand the circumstances we are working under.
Yes.
So I completely approve of, oh, you're renting a room in a house for your living arrangements right now, and you cannot draw a 9-foot circle. It's not physically possible. Yeah, I don't think they care that much. I think they care. I don't think they care that much.
It doesn't have to be 9 foot. It could be, you know, I'm looking at my basement floor, and I was like, I don't have one room for a 9-foot circle. I was able to get a rug that has a pentagram on it with a circle, and it's the intent.
Yes.
It boils down to it's what is your focus, what is your intent, and you have to be true to your thoughts.
Yes.
You can't have any little you.
Yeah.
You can't have that. You have to be true within yourself about it.
Yeah, and that personal integrity, I think, matters more. There was a time in my way back, baby pagan, right? And I meet Dusty the Satanist. I don't know what else to call him. Sorry if you're out there, Dusty. And he, at one point, just turned around and said to me, we're doing a ritual tonight, and someone in the extended group that you practice in, the extended tradition you practice in, here in the Twin Cities is going to die, and it's going to be a woman. And I went, no, they're not. And he looked at me kind of taken aback, and he said, why? And I said, because that's not allowed to exist in my universe.
Right.
And I said it with complete authority. And his response, which makes me laugh to this day, she's a really powerful witch. All I did was say no.
Yeah, just
strongly.
And you have to be, don't be persuaded. So if something doesn't sit within you, within your belief or your integrity, or don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it just because John's gonna jump off the bridge, you don't have to.
Exactly. I don't care if you're 5, I don't care if you're 95. No bad touches.
Be true to yourself.
Not to your soul, not to your psychology, not to your body. No bad touches. If it doesn't feel good,
Don't do it.
don't do it. Put up the wall, get out of there.
Mhm.
That's the simplest solution. Now, that said, I will say that there are some of these demons that have reputations for presenting themselves, and demons I'm going to use in quotes, to be honest. It doesn't mean what modern people mean when they use that word. So, demons. Some of them present in a very scary way. It's intended to make you not bother them, quite frankly, but they're there to help. That's honestly what they're there for. You have to get past, you have to have the self-integrity and the self-worth to go, no, stop roaring.
Yeah.
Shut up and answer my questions now.
Yeah, I'm not, not in the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta adopt, I hate to say it, but the parent voice. You know the voice because you heard it. I mentioned this yesterday. Sometimes with something that's a little mischievous or unruly or presents itself as something scary when it's not really supposed to be that scary, it's really just checking to see, do you have the authority to be working with me, or are you an idiot? And if you're an idiot, they're gonna roll over you.
Exactly.
And if you have the authority, if you have given yourself permission to really do this work, your defenses will come out. They will be preeminent in the situation, and you will rule the day.
It's when you're doing your spell work. No,
Yeah.
I'm a solitary,
Mm-hmm.
okay? When I'm doing my spell work, I will still accommodate some rituals
Yeah.
for solitary work,
Yeah.
okay? I don't read up as much as I should. I'm busy doing.
I don't think there's a should there. Read what you read. Use what you use.
Yeah, but you pick up little bits here and you glean a little bit from there, and that's what I've been using, and I try to incorporate for the solitaries to do. It's okay to do your own ritual as long as you're for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to memorize something, if you want to dive a little bit into the ceremonial, one of the first things people are usually asked to memorize is the LBRP. Google it. It's real short, it's real quick, it's real simple, and it's protective, and it's lovely, and it's nice. But you can make up more or less the same thing by asking each of the elements or the directions or the archangels or the elementals to come protect you in your own way. You will be accomplishing the same thing.
Yep.
What you will not be doing, perhaps, is tapping into the egregore that the precise language gets you into.
Yes.
But since I think intent matters more, I think it's one, I think it's okay if you do use that language. 2, I think it's okay if you read it off a card or a piece of paper. And 3, I think it's okay if a year later, when you're doing it from memory, you goof it up every once in a great while. I think that's okay too.
Right.
You think the intent is there.
Using your book of shadows, writing your stuff down, writing your intents down, writing your, so that way you have record of it. And don't forget to go back and record what happened.
Yes.
Even if it's 6 months later, you're going, oh, I did that with a card reading on myself, and I was like, what's this big move?
Yeah.
Well, after 22 and a half years, I quit my job, and I started a new one, and I was like, I had no intention of doing that. So keep track of your practices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, write it down. I'm not even a journaler, and I will agree with this. Even if it's just a quick note that I put down in a notebook that I keep in the room where I do that kind of work. Just a quick note, did the thing, this was the date, this was the intent, this,
Yeah, this is what the focus was.
Yeah.
And so, I have a feeling with rituals for a coven,
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot more intense. It's going to be, the results are going to be a lot more. If everybody's mindset, everybody has to be on the same page. So
Yeah.
there can't be any.
There can't be any doubts in the back of your head. Magic always works.
Yes.
I have always phrased it as it's like going to see a movie or a theater production. While you're watching it, watch it. Let the emotions roll over you. Be completely immersed in the story. If you want to pick it apart and be analytical about it, don't do it during the show. Do it after the show.
Exactly. And then I found that even though my husband has a room next to me for whatever, I have to have a drink hold for myself, and I have to be in my space and I cannot be interrupted. And, to get myself in the right focus and my protection first.
Yeah.
But I can't, he can't have his TV on super loud, I have to have my music really low. And, yeah, and with a group setting, each person has to be in the same mindset before you get to the group together.
Yes, yeah, I agree. And I think that's one of the reasons for the training periods of the different groups. I don't care how much I know already about paganism and Wicca and ceremonial magic and all of the things. If I'm going to join a new group, I want to go through their training process because I want my psyche, the way I think about things, to sort of mesh with the people I'm going to be working with.
Exactly.
And that takes time and working together, sort of exposure to each other's ways of talking and thinking, because they're also going to change a little bit because I'm there.
And dedication.
And yeah, absolutely, dedication. But
Yeah.
once you're there and you're in it and you do it, when you're done, take your notes. Not only take your notes, but then 6 months later, like you were saying, go back and review what you were doing and see if you need to take a new light, a new tact, new interpretation of what you did. Like, oh, I did that magic and it didn't do what I thought it would do, but I can see it did the thing it was supposed to do.
Or it's kind of like I was here, and then, oh, the light bulb came on, and now I understand what they're meaning.
Yeah. And now suddenly, and jot a little note down, write the date down and go, this turned out to be about. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And again, not a journaler, so my entries are this big. It really is notes
Yeah.
for me because I'm a ranter, as you can tell. I'm a ranter, not a journaler. It's just how I am. It's great, but it does mean that, yeah, my written records are skeletal at best, unless I'm writing for a class. And then
Okay.
otherwise, then I write papers. So I have tons of rough drafts of books, basically. So yeah, I think it's so important that your intent be there. And I also think that figuring out what your integrity is, which means figuring out more about who you are, matters. And one of the places I always go for that is fiction, whether it's television, whether it's movies, whether it's books. If there are like fictional characters I admire, then I tend to keep that around. I tend to rewatch, reread, re-go through. Even for nonfiction, like if there's somebody I particularly admire, I mean, there's an economist I like. I know, way off topic. But there's an economist I like, and I think that economist approaches things with gentle, intelligent honesty without trying to speak over anybody's head on purpose. And I admire those traits. And by watching them, I will reproduce them in myself more often. So that inspiration of, well, what does good behavior mean? And how do I find my way to what I think is integrity? Part of that is by copying people that you think are behaving that way. You might change your mind about that 10 years later.
That's very true. Very true. I'm finding that over again, the more I'm learning from my past.
Yeah.
And people who, you know, everybody has a season and a reason why they're in your life.
Yep.
And oh my gosh, now I know what they were there for.
Yes.
What was their name? I know I used to know them, but yeah, but that you learn.
And for good and for ill. There are people whom I both admire
Yes.
and to a small degree revile because of choices and decisions they made about how they treated other people.
Yes.
And I have to keep the good of that in mind and maybe create distance because I didn't like the bad, but keep the good in mind and understand they're not me. They don't have to do the thing I would pick, and that's okay. And go forward from there. So some of those people are still in my life. I love them dearly and they're wonderful people. Some of those people are not in my life because the bad started to outweigh the good. So we parted ways, and I hope that they all have happy, healthy lives. I just, for my own integrity, need to be separate from them.
As it says, be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Just know, just kind of, I'm not putting up with this.
Yeah.
This is, you know, my husband, I wrote down a list. I had to get it out and see the elements. I wrote down what I wanted in a man.
Yeah.
What I could handle, socks on the floor, this and that. What I wanted, somebody who loves me unconditionally for me, not trying to change me, little things things like that. And then stuff I cannot tolerate, like, cheating, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I work all that out, and within a week and a half, my man is better.
Just saying. And
You know?
sometimes that's what it takes, is like getting it out there. What is it? Because if you're not sure about what you want, then you end up with something maybe that you didn't want. Whereas if you take the time to write out that list, go through that list in your head, you're more focused on getting that good relationship, that better job, whatever it is. I know also for me, becoming a parent got me to cut off a couple of relationships because I had to look at those people and go, I don't want you as an example for my kid.
Right.
I'm so sorry, but I can't. No.
No.
It did change my tolerance of some things.
Yes.
And I think for the better. So
When it comes to ceremonial, be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Know what you will and will not tolerate. And if you're not sure, write it down.
yeah.
You know, just write down things. This is what I love.
Yep.
This is what I don't love. I'm not putting up with that.
No. Yeah.
So, and then you'll know yourself a little bit better.
Yeah. And then you're in a better position to make the decisions you need to make about what you need to do in life. I think that's a great way to go. So yeah, whether you're going to do, and I don't care if you're going to do pagan, witchcraft, Wicca, ceremonial magic, Asatru, Celtic practices, Druidic practices, Baha'i, Buddhism, I don't care. First rule, to thine own self be true. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's it.
The bard was right. It's a good point of philosophy. We are about getting to the end of our stream, and I think a nice obscure password or discount word for the week would be Shakespeare. So let's do Shakespeare since you got to mention. But in the meanwhile, come on in. We can talk about what's been going on and what you can do to protect yourself, and even do magic in directions that help create change and how to think about those processes. Because you're not gonna just like change everything overnight, but you can do things that back up the people that you want backed up, strengthen the causes you want strengthened. All of those things can happen. And I will add, if you can, write the letter, make the donation, go on the protest, whatever of those things you're capable of doing. You know, if you're a single parent with 2 or 3 small kids at home, please don't go get arrested at a protest. That's not a good idea.
No.
But you can write a letter, you know.
Make a phone call.
Yeah.
You know, like I've done both. I've sent emails.
Mhm.
You don't even have to leave the mail a letter.
Yep.
You can send another email.
Yeah.
You can phone call, leave messages. Yeah.
If you're the person who can't do the protest, but you know have friends who are, bake a batch of cookies for them to take with them. Make sandwiches for them. Do something to help them on the mission that you can't go on.
Yeah.
Because you will get there. And come on down. We'll chat. Mention Shakespeare. You'll be able to get that little discount. Plus, with our new system, by the way, I should say, 1, when you are in the system, you are acquiring points with every purchase. The points lead to cash for future purchases. And 2, we're slowly cleaning up the website from the fantastic job the new company did in transferring information from the old website to the new one. But that means if you see something online that is out of stock, there's about a 95% chance that it's there because we just ordered it and it's literally on our way. So somebody yesterday gave us a call and said, I saw this on your website, it says you're out of stock. Are you really out of stock? I said, well, yes, but that's because I ordered it. Do you want me to set aside the one and only copy of that tarot deck we're getting this week? Yes, I do. So I am anticipating that tomorrow, Daryl's getting a call, letting him know that that deck he wanted is in, and we're going to hold it for him for a week. So if you're on the site and it still looks pretty wonky, I will not lie, but as you see the improvements happen, know it's getting better and better every day, and the site's more secure than the old site, which is why we switched. It's a much better spot for all of us to go shopping now. It was always secure on the pages that needed to be secure, but now the whole thing is safe, which is beautiful. So come on in. We will see you soon. We'll see you online. We will see you here, and we'll see you at the shop, Magus Books. This is Liz. We're signing off.
This was very
Blessed be.